worst away record in the English professional game to Aston Villa, who themselves are 10 games without a win. John Watson in attendance.
Matthew Le Tissier returns to the Southampton side to make his 500th senior appearance. It's his 13th season with this his only club, for whom he scored 204 goals, 47 of them penalties. And alongside him, another seasoned campaigner with over 200 career goals. But Mark Hughes has still to open his account for Southampton after 30 games. And a goal would also be welcome for Dion Dublin, who scored 9 times in his first 7 matches for Aston Villa, including a hat-trick at Southampton, but since mid-December has managed only 1 in 13 games, and that a penalty. But he is playing with a groin injury and will have surgery at the end of the season. Villa recall Alan Thompson after suspension, and it's at the expense of Lee Hendry, despite his goal at Leicester on Tuesday. No starting place either for Paul Merson, who scored for the reserves in midweek. Southampton gave late fitness tests to Egil Østenstad and David Hughes. Both came through, so there are 2 changes from the side beaten at Coventry, Østenstad and Le Tissier replacing Beattie and Bridge. David Hurst, who has yet to play at senior level this season, is on the bench after an impressive reserve game on Wednesday. Neale Barry starts the first leg of what's a busy weekend for the Villa Park staff, and maybe a tiring one too for the playing surface, because in less than 24 hours Arsenal and Manchester United will play their semi-final here. But as for today, who needs the win most? Aston Villa to end their startling loss of form, or Southampton, who badly need to improve that woe-begone away record? Villa are playing from left to right. Southampton in the stripes. This is Colleter, the French left-back. And Steve Stone up against him today. Joachim for Villa. Now Watson inside to Draper, and across to Wright. Taylor coming in for the header. And Villa making the first incision here, and it's Ian Taylor on the end of the cross. Joachim. Oh, that's a peach of a ball by Le Tissier to Østenstad, and he's onside. Chance for Southampton to take the lead, and denied by Bosnich. What an opportunity for Egil Østenstad, and what a superb pass by Matt Le Tissier. That was choice on his 500th game. Østenstad, well, he's put those away before comfortably, but Bosnich saves with his feet. One of his specialities really as a goalkeeper, and so rather than having a goal, Southampton only have a corner. Le Tissier to take. Ken Moncau is up. Bosnich there, who still, we don't know where he's going to be next season. David Jones reintroducing Le Tissier and Østenstad to the side today. One makes a chance for the other, but it's not taken. Østenstad. Marsden. This is promising. Oh, good effort. And the ex-Birmingham man. A somewhat mixed reception at Villa Park, but he's played under David Jones before, has Chris Marsden, when they were both at Stockport. That wasn't a bad effort from midfield. Well, compared to the Villa Park that we visited before Christmas, it's rather a subdued atmosphere today. They saw their team lead the Premiership right up to January, but it's all gone somewhat the other way since. Wright, Taylor, Draper again. It's a good turn away from Marsden, and it's still Mark Draper. Oh yes, that's a really good goal by a fella that doesn't score that many from midfield, but he's certainly capable of it. Turning here from his own, from the centre circle really. Marsden tried to get a challenge, placed that shot perfectly away from Neale Moss and in off the post. So it's Villa 1, Southampton 0, and Draper's second of the season. That was nicely done by Hendry. Jurchen made the run across to collect. Takes on Lundekvam. That's a foul. It's also going to be a caution for the Southampton defender, Klaus Lundekvam, for this trip on Julian Jurchen. That's a yellow card. It's also put Southampton on the back foot again here. Villa throwing plenty forward, including Calderwood. Draper takes it. Oh, it's drifting away, and Moss got an acrobatic hand to it. Needed to. Oh, Draper's certainly got an eye for goal just at present. He's curled that one right across the group of players in the area, and Moss having to claw it out of the air, really. It's a corner to Villa on the near side. It's Wright who finally gets the ball in. Calderwood's up at the far side. So was Taylor. Mark Hughes couldn't clear. Dublin. Now Stone. Dublin. Watson. Collier. Oh, straight to right. Hendry to his left. Taylor makes a forward run as Dublin drops deep. This is Draper. Taylor's with Moncau. And now he's with Hiley. Now next week, Southampton play Blackburn in what is the proverbial six-pointer. And there's Brian Kidd, the Blackburn manager, in the front row, obviously doing his homework. So a free kick against Dublin. And Southampton have a chance to push one of the midfield players on here. Letitia, that's a good turn away from Calderwood, and he's gone past Southgate. And Erstenstadt fell over as the cross came in. David Hughes got there. Mark Hughes trying to make contact. And another chance goes begging, or does it? Hughes again. Letitia. Well, this time Letitia got the ball in from a wide position, and Erstenstadt fell over as the cross came in. Otherwise, Southampton could have been level. Moncau. Marsden. Mark Hughes. Hiley. Oh, David Hughes is waiting just behind the defender for the... Still not really away by Villa. Letitia. Marsden. Letitia, can he reach it? No. Well, he went past both Villa's central defenders in that last piece of approach play. Matt Letitia took on Calderwood and Southgate to get the cross in. But for the moment, Erstenstadt's not having a good time. Taylor. Oh, that could run on for Hendry. And Southampton are stretched here. Jurchen's in the middle. Still Hendry. Oh, Steve Stone! What a good chance for him to open his Aston Villa account. But unable to take it after good work by Hendry. Southampton were all over the place here, all drawn towards the ball. But Stone fires well wide. Mark Hughes. Hiley. David Hughes. Collier. Tissier dropping off again. Three of them in the penalty area making a run across. Space on the right here for Hiley. Oh, Tissier! Well, I think he was going for goal, and understandably so, but there was a chance that perhaps Mark Hughes could have got on the end of this Tissier header. Watch him on the far post here. Maybe he was aiming for Hughes. Either way, the chance has gone for Southampton, as have several in this first half, it should be said. And they remain a goal behind. Oh, Taylor through the middle, and taken out there. Now, is that Lundekvam again? If it is, he could be off. He's already been yellow-carded, Klaus Lundekvam. And what's the referee going to do here? He's maybe speak to his assistant. Now then, was it the arm of Lundekvam that brought down Taylor? And the two officials are having quite a consultation about this. Taylor is away. Lundekvam definitely brings him back with his arm. And a player who's already had the yellow card. Now David Jones will be worried. What's going to happen here? Was the linesman already flagging for offside, perhaps, is one of the questions here. And if he was, then the offence doesn't matter. And will the yellow card be rescinded? Or won't? Yellow, and at last, it's red. Well, I must say, I thought that had to come. Southampton are complaining because I have a feeling the referee has given the free kick the other way. That's what the argument's about now. They're surrounding him. It was certainly Lundekvam's second offence, there's no doubt about that, but there appears to be a feeling that the linesman was flagging on the far side for an earlier offence. Something like this happened in the World Cup in the Germany-Croatia match. Lundekvam is off. Southampton are down to 10 men, but David Jones is saying to David Morrell, if you were flagging before, then why didn't you let the referee know? Because the referee has given an indirect free kick to Southampton, which makes me think that it was an offside decision against Aston Villa, and if it was momentarily flag up before the Lundekvam. Well, we've got a disciplinary minefield every week to pick our way through now in the Premiership. The facts of the matter are that Lundekvam is off, Southampton are a goal down and down to 10 men, and decidedly unhappy with the officials. David Jones is still on the touchline, obviously reorganising now. He needs a new central defender. Here's Tissier. This is Joachim. And still Julian Joachim. And now Stone. Bundled over in the corner, but it's gone to Southampton. Here's Tissier, came off Southgate, Chess is the referee. Looking for Joachim here. And the goalkeeper's right out, did well to make the save, second time also. Well, that's an example, really, of how Southampton have had to reshuffle, because I think it's Jason Dodd that's gone into the back four alongside Moncao, and certainly Joachim was clear of all of them. Goalkeeper Moss does well, and also to gather the loose ball. This is Wright. Hendry. Oh, this is good play. It's Ian Taylor. He's through for Villa. Taylor! Wide. Things could be a lot worse for Southampton than they already are. They could have gone 2 down since they lost the man. The wide open centre of the defence again, but Taylor pulls his shot across the goal. Well, here's what happened on the moment of dispute. Julian Joachim is the first player to challenge Lundekvam. Then when he runs on, there's the offside that I'm sure the official on the far side might have flagged for, or at least certainly Southampton protested it wasn't given at first, and the sending off followed. So at half-time, as referee Neale Barry brings the proceedings to a close, I'm sure 1 or 2 Southampton players will perhaps try and have a word. Draper's goal keeps Aston Villa in the lead, there's no question about that. The referee sending off Lundekvam for a second bookable offence, which it certainly was, by the way, but Southampton feeling that maybe a split second earlier Joachim was in an offside position, and the game did restart with an indirect free kick to Southampton. So Stuart Gray may well have a point, as would David Jones, to make to the referee. However, the yellow card had already been shown the second time, so inevitably he had to produce the red, I would think, if he wasn't going to rescind his first decision. But it's certainly one to discuss, and Southampton look a little hard done by as they go off a goal down. Well, the explanation from Mr. Barry's dressing room about the sending off is exactly as we thought at the time, that he thought the ball was still live when Lundekvam committed his second bookable offence, although he went across to speak to his assistant because there was an offside flag, which technically had not been acknowledged at the time of the foul. But one has to make the point that although the ball was still live, the referee did restart the game with an indirect free kick for offside. So it's one for all local referees up and down the country to debate as well. It hasn't altered the fact that Southampton will play the rest of the match with 10 men, or that Aston Villa lead 1-0. And Taylor, of course, was the player involved in the incident. He was the man who Lundekvam pulled back. He's one of these referees who changes the 2 assistants round at half-time, Mr. Barry. So we've now got Alan Kay on the dressing room side in the second half. Good return ball by Draper to Stone. Up against Moncau. 4 in the middle for Aston Villa. And there's the cross. Hendry! Oh, should have scored. Well, it took Stone a while to get that ball in, but Hendry really had a chance to convert the cross. Finally gets a whip ball. Oh, that's come off the side of his head, rather. Well, the way Southampton have reorganised, Francis Benali has gone to left back, Collier has pushed further forward on the left-hand side, and Mark Hughes withdrawn for tactical reasons. Here's the Tissier! Oh. Well, that finished in the Southampton contingent behind the goal, but they know on another day it might have gone in. Mark Draper is going off, and he'll be replaced by Paul Merson, who scored in a 4-3 win over Leeds in midweek for the reserves, and also scored at the Dell in November when Villa won 4-1 at Southampton. Oh, it's a good ball. Merson to Hendry. Dublin waits in the centre here. So does Joachim. Still Hendry, and still. Watson finds Stone. Now Merson. Joachim's unmarked. But it was a shot rather than a pass. This is Taylor. Hendry, 2 up front. That's a foul. David Hughes coming in behind Lee Hendry. Marsden showing his displeasure, but Merson's on the ball. He's found Watson. Oh, good ball by Merson. Joachim! Aston Villa, 2-0. What a ball by Merson. Joachim takes the congratulations, the top scorer gets another, but whatever problems Paul Merson's got in his life, the one certain thing is he's got a real football brain, and that was an exquisite pass. Not the first good thing he's done in the short time that he's been on, but good enough to give Jurgen the chance to lob it over Neale, and Villa are 2-0 up. But that is measured passing, perfectly weighted, backspin on the ball, giving the striker every chance to get there in front of the goalkeeper, and Jurgen certainly did that. It's his 13th goal of the season for Aston Villa. But if Paul Merson wanted a boost to his all-round confidence, and John Gregory wanted a little more confidence in him, that's been provided since he's been on the field today. It's Merson to Jurgen, picked out again quite beautifully. Julian Jurgen, good save by Moss. All credit there to the goalkeeper. Jurgen in on him. Another great ball by Merson, it ought to be pointed out, but look at the way Jurgen gets around Jason Dodd here, all too easily really, and Moss comes to make a fine stop. It's a corner to Villa. Dublin trying to get on the end of it. David Hughes to clear. Southgate! 2-0 up now, and looking good for their first win in nearly 3 months, Aston Villa. This is Dublin to Stone. Oh, good running by Merson. Look at this. Oh, the whistle's gone. This will not stand. It would have been Villa's third, and a fitting reward for the way Merson's played since he came on in the 58th minute, but the referee has penalised him here. It's a handball offence, is it? As he gets the ball down, touch it with his arm. That would appear to be the decision. Bad luck in a way. This is Hendry into Merson. Oh, with a great ball. Dublin, Taylor, Villa starting to look a little bit more menacing now. This is Stone. Steve Stone round the outside, and Dublin! Big smile from Dion Dublin. Only his second goal in 14 games. But look at Steve Stone here on the right. That's perfect wing play. The cross dropped right onto Dublin's head, and he makes it 3-0 to Aston Villa and condemns Southampton to another away defeat. But as far as the home fans are concerned, confirms Aston Villa's first victory in 11 games. And they're going to give him a rest now, playing with that groin strain. He'll go off in the closing moments and be replaced by Gareth Barry. What a difference Merson has made since he came on. Taylor, Merson. Oh, Stone in loads of room on the far side. Jurgen's in the middle, so is Gareth Barry. This is Watson. This is Stone again, little back heel to Merson. Oh, Villa ending the match on a real high. Everybody wanting the ball. Taylor, right. Into Jurgen. Good save by Moss. Could have been 5 or 6 by now. Goalkeeper's made at least 2, maybe 3 very good saves. Julian Jurgen, good footwork, very nimble. There's Gareth Barry with the header across. Well, the end of a long wait. Aston Villa supporters able to celebrate a win for the first time since mid-January. That'll please John Gregory. They were well worth it too. It could have been more than 3 in the second half. Jurgen scored the second. Merson was an inspiration when he came on just before the hour. Passed the ball around as though he was running the match, but Matt Letitia, who embraces him, played one delightful ball early on, which Southampton will look back on, as indeed they'll look back on the sending off of Lundekvam. committed them to playing more than half the match with only 10 men. Having said that, Villa were good winners. Southampton's woeful away form continues, as does their fight against relegation. And John Gregory's team go off with the comfort of a 3-0 win and 3 points.
You were clearly upset about the sending off situation. Now you've had time to think it through. Has your view changed?
No, I asked the referee at half time why he was sent off. If it's, you know, the lad's in an offside position, he's pulled him back. And his reason was because he didn't see the flag, the foul had been committed before he'd seen the flag. I don't understand. When I asked him if he'd have gone through and scored, would he have disallowed the goal? And he said yes. So I don't understand that one.
May 16th against Everton. It's going to go to the wire, isn't it?
Well, that's what everyone seems to be saying. We're hoping, like I said, I mean, it's going to be a big game anyway for both sides because we're both down there. But we want a few wins behind us before we go into that game. And we've had a few the last few seasons where it's gone to the last game of the season. We've always managed to scrape it and stay there, but hopefully we don't want to have another one like the last couple of seasons.
An excellent performance by Paul Merson when he came on. Suggestions in the papers are saying that he has problems that are off the field.
Well, I think the papers want to concentrate on leaving people's private lives to themselves and let them live their life instead of putting them under immense pressure all the time. And I'm not interested in reading about other people's personal lives. And I think it's sad that we have to have such an intrusive media that feel that that's the most important thing at times.
I think many people would agree with you, but when it's placed on the record and it's placed in the papers with a high-profile figure, then it's inevitable that people are going to follow up stories like this. So we can...
Well, why?
Because he's such a high-profile figure.
But why, you know, why do we have to pry into people's private lives? He's a public, he's on show when he's playing, and so are other players. And let's judge them on what they do on the field. What happens outside of the field and away from the game is down to players and their individual families, in my opinion.
Alan, did Southampton's performance deserve a 3-0 defeat today?
Well, I thought Villa in the second half were very, very good. In fact, they were exceptional, probably just as good as they were playing before Christmas. But in the first half an hour, Dave Jones would be delighted the way Southampton played. They came to Villa, they took the game to them, and really they could have been 2-0 up before Villa scored the first goal.
So here we go, the sending off.
Well,
it was the crucial moment again, really.
Yeah, I mean, Joachim's got tons of pace here, and Ludwig van tackles him. It's clumsy. It's a definite yellow card. So once you get a yellow card, you've got to watch what you're doing. He has a bad touch here. Joachim runs through. Taylor bursts into position. Joachim's off. The arm comes out, and he brings him down. But the linesman's given offside for Joachim. The referee's saying the ball is still live. I think that common sense prevails there. If he gives an offside decision, he should go to the big centre-back and say, hey, you watch yourself, because you're lucky to stay on the pitch here. But I think you should have stayed on the pitch.
He can't change his decision, surely. If he changes the decision...
Well, he never gave a decision.
He did. He had his cards out.
I didn't see a card being produced. If the lines... But what we're saying here, basically, is if the referee spots the linesman early and gives the offside decision, then there isn't a problem. So it's a thin dividing line between them staying on and going off. And I think if you're sending somebody off at this level, it's got to be set in stone.
But when the ball is live and active, if someone commits an offence, the referee just can't say, well, I'll let you off because something happened just after.
I can understand if it's an offence that's like a violent conduct offence. But this was a simple pulling back. And for me, he should have still been on the pitch.
Well, I think a lot of people agree with you there. Klaus had a bad day at the office, though, didn't he, even before he got sent off?
Laura agreed with me. You agreed with me, didn't you?
No, I'd never agree with you.
You professionals, you'd all stick together, though, wouldn't you?
I thought you should have had just a word with him.
Yeah.
Well, then everyone starts complaining about consistency.
No, we're all agreeing with you.
No, well, consistency. Be consistent.
Well, that would be it.
Now, Klaus had a bad day at the office before he got sent off, then.
Yeah, this is disappointing. I think this is a disease in the English game. I think where Draper picks the ball up here and where he hits it, if you watch Ludwig van here, he goes back towards his own goals. We were always taught go to the ball. If you watch him here, he's a bit in the back of the net when Draper hits it in. And I think that if he goes to the ball there, you haven't got a problem.
Southampton need goals. Do you agree that giving Matt Letizia a chance and using him is the best way forward for the Saints?
Well, he was quality today. He was absolutely inspirational. Every time he picked up, this is early in the first half, one touch, great vision and awareness onto Aston. He should score here. It's a good save, but you've got to take these chances. It's played up to him here. The control is absolutely sensational. Then, just his ability to get there. A great ball, and Ocean's had slips, but it's like carnage in the Villa defence. And basically, again, every time he got the ball in the first half, Southampton looked like scoring. And I think that Dave Jones has got no option now but to build a team around him and play him until the end of the season.
And what sparked Villa today?
Well, Merson. When Merson came on, as I said before, they played as though it was pre-Christmas where they were firing. He came on, and you can say what you want, but there's no substitute for real quality. He picks up here, a bit of space, again the vision, awareness into Josham, great pass. He's got a bit of pace, probably should have scored, good save with the keeper. This is unbelievable. You just, I mean, if this was a Brazilian, you'd be drooling about it. Gives it, gets it back, and well, it's a bit of checking that, isn't it? And every time he picked up, he was, and I tell you what, his problems have been well documented, but I would give him this little bit of advice. When he's down, have a look at that performance this afternoon, and that will cheer him up, I'll tell you, because he was sensational when he came on.
When Paul Merson is in the side, I think it's going to be much more easy.